So you want to build a house here soon?
Yes.
Like how soon?
Like breaking ground in June would be
Breaking
the
ground
earliest.
That's what we're thinking.
And so,
Oh, shoot, y'all are way behind the curve. I'm serious.
Okay,
We're
cool.
gonna have to get moving here.
Yeah.
So we're here at the property waiting for Pete Van Dyke from Drough Proof Tx to come and give us some info about our land. We're really excited about it, but it's 36 degrees. What'd you say?
No, 30.
It's 30 degrees outside, so we have the kids bundled up. We'll see how it goes. Hey, is there ice on it, Gideon? Do you see the ice?
Oh no, I'm totally used to it.
Look at that.
Okay.
Don't touch the water because it's gonna make your hand very, very cold. Okay,
Yeah,
don't
don't touch.
touch it, Asher.
It's cold. It's
Do you
ice.
see the ice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is like Jello.
It's like Jello. It does look like Jello. Yeah. So right over there, those big trees are our favorite part of
Daddy,
the property.
what is that?
It's a puffy mic.
No, Daddy.
It's a microphone. It's puffy, so that if there's wind, the wind doesn't get in the microphone. So do you have questions for us, or do you want me to go through the list that I sent you?
Mean, just start explaining yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have? Tell me what you want. We're planning to have a big covered front porch, and it would sort of be nice to come in the driveway to see it. I don't know if we want the front facing north. That way is north, because the northerns just go in when you open the door. We'd also love to see the trees because that's the reason that we want to be back here. One of them at least. So would we want the porch? Would we want the front of the house facing the trees, even though we would probably come in the back way just to have a shorter distance from the driveway?
Just the way this land is oriented right here, sort of means that the long side of the house goes this way.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's something I really appreciate about Pete. With all the builders that we've talked to, they've really taken an aesthetic approach. Where do you want your house located? I think it would look best this way. But with Pete, it seems like he's taking more of a functional approach. How will this work with the land? How will this work with the drainage? How will this work with the sun? And that's such a different perspective, and we need both if we really want our house to be exactly how we want it. And so I was really appreciative that he gave us that insight, because none of the 4 builders that we've talked to prior to now has seemed to taken that into consideration, aside from the sun coming in your window. So I'm excited to see what else Pete has to offer. Functionally, I really don't want northers blowing into our house through a crack in the door or through opening the door constantly. I don't want the south side, because we live in Texas, to have a lot of open windows facing the sun, because that would make it really hot. We need to take into consideration the sun setting. We don't want that going into our house like that. And we also really want those trees to be really displayed through our house, whether that's seeing them from a porch or seeing them from a window. Don't exactly know, but hopefully Pete can really help us in functionally setting our house also, so that we can utilize those amazing trees that we have.
So, if you build a road that's like a professionally built gravel road, that's going to cost like $20,000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Per 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
So, it's just a consideration.
Yes, definitely.
Plus it costs to maintain the road, probably $3,000 to $5,000 every 3 or 4 years, So if you can pay that, then that should be fine.
Okay. So, any thoughts on if we're having a house over here, where we would bring in the driveway? In this right here, would we go real close to, like, on the other side of the gate that we just passed through? Would we go just straight down?
Usually, I would say to keep the road sort of in the high spots. So
Okay.
As soon as you start cutting across the slope, it moves water You know,
Uh-huh.
so if your road is on a high spot up there,
Uh-huh.
kind of on top of the ridge,
Uh-huh.
then there's no water going towards it.
Okay.
So I would probably keep it up there as long as you could, and then bring it down towards the house, like along the side or something.
So would it come just like straight down the hill? Like if this, let's say this was our garage,
Yeah,
just straight
Probably
towards it?
so. Yeah.
Having roads in high places seems like a no-brainer, but it's just really good to have someone tell you that. We can sit and think and plan and do all of those things, and we can think that it's good, but to really have someone come in and say, this is where I'm a professional, this is where I think you should put these things, and really taking into consideration maintenance, rain runoff, where things are going to be is so helpful. If this is the location, so I guess the first thing we would think about is trees, like fruit trees. Fruit trees, gardens. Would that need to be in a fenced-in area, or would it be possible to like fence specific trees, just like try and
Yeah,
put in?
yeah. You can fence in specific trees. So usually in these types of areas, you know, fruit trees have a little bit of trouble.
Okay.
Because it's just caliche out here and limestone. But you can plant trees on like little berms and stuff like that.
Okay.
That catch water, and then if you wanted to, you could individually cage them.
Uh-huh.
I personally like to have like a fenced-in area,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have to have like all of this like wire cages around every single tree.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say like a fenced-in area of like gardening, like trees and garden,
Yeah.
or fenced-in like house trees and garden? Or does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Like it in the yard or in a
Yeah.
different spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, or part of the house is fenced in,
Yeah.
and the other part is not.
Yeah.
No.
Definitely,
You did that
Um,
yourself.
because then you just have freedom to plant whatever you want in your fenced-in area.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's cattle out here too,
Yeah.
and cows make it even more difficult to cage fruit trees
Mm-hmm.
because they're so strong. They can just...
Well, Asher, if you just put a jacket on, we'd be doing good. You need to be warm.
No.
Are you cold? Now, if I'm thinking about trees, is there, let's say we're standing sort of where the house is, would it matter where we put them, or, you know, based on the slope, or?
Yeah, I would probably go downhill,
Okay.
you know, because up here on the ridge it's dry.
Okay.
It's very poor soil. It probably gets a little, I mean, not much better, but a little better further down you go.
Okay. The deer are a huge problem, and the cows, and the goats, and I don't exactly know how we're going to get around it. Pete had some thoughts for us, so we'll have to really take him up on his design to figure the best way out. But yeah, we want fruit trees, we want a garden, we want to have plum and apple and, I don't know, banana maybe, apricot, lemon. The sky's the limit. And with our garden, we just want to have an abundance of food that we can eat ourselves, that we can store for later, and that we can share with others. So really getting those things right so that they grow well, so that it's sustainable for us in watering them and tending the garden. We want to be eating from our garden all year long. And so it's necessary for it to be in the right spot, have the right conditions so that things can grow the best that they can. So in terms of small animals like rabbits and chickens and stuff like that, does it matter, like if we were to have them up on a hill so that when it rained, their manure like come down more towards the garden is that super significant?
No, I would say like, you know, the more you move them around, like it's cleaner for the birds.
Okay.
You know.
So you'd recommend have it rotating somewhere?
Yeah, exactly. And then you wouldn't just be like hammering one spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually what I would go for.
Okay.
And they need protection too, you know.
Yes.
There's raccoons. And...
Now with them, if they were outside of our yard
and we had an electric wire or something, that still wouldn't keep the cows out, I would think, right? I would think the cows are just going to trample over any sort of movable electric fence that we would have. They could, yeah. But cows can be trained too. Could you get a solar one cranked up that high? No, those aren't really that reliable. I mean, they're fine, but so you just have to have you'd have to have it around the perimeter of your property with different outlets to connect it to. Well, if you mean if they were outside the main fence? Yeah.
Maybe you and Jonah, maybe Gideon.
You could fence them out with a single wire, electric wire. Okay. Yeah. At like nose height, you know. Okay. And that's how a lot of people do it. Okay. And you just hook that up to your grid power or whatever, and it stays. As long as it's not like touching the grass or touching plants or something. Thinking about whether it's meat chickens or egg chickens, is like, this isn't green, obviously. Are there still things for them to eat if you're rotating them? Yeah, you have to feed them. Sure. Yeah, but I mean, don't you always have to feed them? Yeah, they're going to eat stuff out here. They'll be eating bugs, and you know, they'll tear into those little cow patties over there, and they'll eat grass. They'll eat this grass. Okay. You know, but if you're moving them around, it's just cleaner for the animals. You know, otherwise they're just going to be sort of in their own poop. Forever, which is not nearly as good. You have more problems like that. So yeah, you would feed them. You'd let them eat whatever they want, and you know, yeah, for sure, that'd be fine. There's a lot of stuff out here, especially in the summer. There's grasshoppers and bugs, little caterpillars and stuff.
We have some thoughts about what animals we want to start with, but aren't sure. We probably want rabbits and chickens and pigs, and we already have the cows and the goats. If you have thoughts on what we should start with, please leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear your opinion. But we have to find a way to keep all of them safe from predators and have it be easy for us to access and maintain.
Okay. But like, look, like here, there's no drain on the uphill side. The water just comes down the hill. Goes right over the road, and when it comes down from there, look, it catches these little 2-track that goes down that way where the driveway is, and the water just follows that all the way down. Okay. You know, so you have to protect the road with drainage.
So basically, if we were talking about this right here, you probably have a ditch from here all the way along.
Only on the uphill side of the road. So if the road is like on the ridge, then you don't need that because there's no water going towards it because it's in the highest spot. Right. But if it's going across the slope like it is here, then you know water's going to come down from downhill, uphill, and go down into the road. And where you're driving ends up being the lowest point. So the water just follows that all the way down. So a lot of people will use little berms and stuff like that to knock the water off the road. Okay. It's not the best solution, but it gets you by. You know what I mean? Okay. But I mean, to build a proper road like I was describing to you, it's $20,000 every 1,000 feet. You know? It's expensive.
Just because of the material that you're using, the way that
you're
packing
the
it?
equipment, the labor. You know, I think it's worth doing. Because once you drive in, once you increase traffic to this area with construction and trucks and yourself driving in and out and friends and family, you know, the road is not going to be getting better. Sure. Yeah. It's going to be getting worse. Definitely. So, and the thing is, you can design the road where there's drainage and then catch that water that comes off the road
and use it in the landscape. You can let it go in places that are appropriate. I know a lot of people get into this sort of thing for health reasons. Like, I don't know, like if you guys had problems with that, but I've just accepted it now that like people are usually moving out to the country to get away from whatever is harming them.
There's definitely parts of that. I also just want more stability. There's so much happening, and it's like, well, we have this land, we want to move out there, and so let's just go ahead and do it, because I feel like we don't have to, if we can control more variables, we don't have to be controlled by inflation or this or that. Right. I'm also, anyways, so but then I am gluten-free, dairy-free, peanut-free. There's a lot of things with my hormonal health and things in the last years. Having 3 kids in 4 years, not ideal for the human body. But that's a whole other topic. I train pregnant and postpartum women, and so that's like will get on like a whole. Like,
what do you do?
I train them, so I'm a fitness trainer, personal trainer, and I own a business, and that's what I do. Is I like help women transition into motherhood.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I.
So you want to build a house here soon?
Yes.
Like how soon?
Like breaking ground in June would be the earliest.
That's what we're thinking.
And so.
Shoot, y'all are way behind the curve. I'm serious.
Okay,
We're gonna have to get moving here. Yeah. Me personally, I probably wouldn't expend any money on anything except like getting water over there, getting power over there, getting the road, getting ready for contractors to show up and start building. Like that's the stuff that like gardens and stuff, they're about to like tear everything up down there, and you need space to work.
Yes.
You're not going to be doing any landscaping till the end.
Got it. That makes sense, because there's going to be a bunch of crap everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to be, a construction site.
Right. So if the ideal place for our garden is right next to all the construction, it makes no sense to try. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
And it's money too.
Yeah.
Like you need to be ready to, like, spend money on like things that are needed immediately, like a septic tank or whatever. The guy's going to be like, okay, we need a check for $10,000, and you're going to be like, oh, shoot, I probably shouldn't have spent $20,000 planting fruit trees, when you don't have a house to live in.
Yes, that makes sense.
So that would be my recommendation, is the order of operations is like get a living space and a base of operations so that you can be comfortable, and then and then you step out and from there. You don't want to like step out and then have to like retrace and go back,
Pete's visit was really important to us, just to help us get a grid of what to expect and what we need to do first. We're going to hire him to plan out all of our lands, tell us where each thing should go and at what time that should happen. And I think that's going to save us thousands of dollars in the long run. Not having to redo roads, not having to go farther than we have to tend our garden and our fruit trees and everything like that. So I'm really excited to see his master plan for our homestead. So the number one thing you need to do before you design your homestead is get a permaculture expert or someone who's going to be able to map out all of your land functionally to see the best way to situate all of your items on your homestead. We're so thankful for Pete for coming out and helping us out, and we look forward to continue working with him. Thanks guys for subscribing, like this video if you like the content, and we look forward to seeing you next time.